Hey everybody, I hope y'all are doing good. Y'all are seeing a different background. This is my little apartment. It's really small, y'all. It's a 1 bedroom. It should be classified as an efficiency, really, because it really is a small apartment. Very quiet over here, very safe neighborhood. I haven't had any issues since I've lived over here. What led to me being in my own little tiny abode? Well, back in 2024, me and my husband were no longer together, and he chose to go and purchase a home. I wasn't going into agreement with that, and there was a lot of other things that was going on in our marriage too. And I knew no matter where we lived, as long as we were not dealing with the issues in our marriage, it was just going to follow us into the new home. It didn't matter how big the home was. It didn't matter how elaborate it seemed. I wanted peace. I wanted us to deal with what we weren't dealing with, and he didn't want to do that. And so I wasn't going to follow him. And in videos to come, I'll talk more about a lot of what was happening in our marriage. So when he left, purchased this home, went his way, it now left me just my car. So I had to get a hotel room, and that put me on a journey of now finding a job and finding a place to stay, which is now where I'm living here. And so right off the top, I went into work mode, like, I gotta find a job. So I did start working for a retail company, and they hired me pretty quickly. So we separated February the 11th. I was working at that retail location by March 8th. So that was the quickest God had really opened a door for me, especially in a season where I really needed employment. And so right after that, I was like, okay, I got the job. Now I need to start looking for places to stay. Now, wasn't making much at this retail location. Y'all know retail, it can range between $12 an hour to $15 an hour. Or in my case, it wasn't 15. So yeah, now I had to find, but it was full-time hours. And so now I had to find an apartment. And so that's when I started looking. A lot of the apartments, when I would look at the reviews, they would be like, it's got roaches, maintenance is bad, the people in the office are rude, so I'm like, oh my gosh, And when you're not making a lot, you can't really look outside of, certain communities, right? And so I had to, keep looking, and I was just praying. And then lo and behold, I found this apartment. And they had pictures of what the apartments look like. And so I'm looking online, and I'm just kind of like swiping, and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, God, I think I'm interested in this apartment. Like, I want to live here. I think this will be good for me. And so I remember just, telling God, this is how much I make. This is the apartment that I'm interested in, and I just left it up to God. And so ended up contacting the management of these apartments, and the woman told me that she needed proof of income, right? So she wanted to make sure I made enough to be able to afford the apartment. So I had to work a couple of months before I had enough paychecks, and then I was able to go ahead and submit those to her. Now, there was also somebody else looking into getting this apartment, and I was freaking out. I was like, no, God, no, I got to get this apartment, because again, I'm at hotel rooms. And the good thing about it is God had revealed to me in a dream that I would be working at this retail location. But at the time, I didn't even know that that's what he was revealing to me. And so the hotel that I was living in was right behind the retail location. So it all just kind of worked out. And then where I live now is like a 4-minute drive to the retail location. So you see how God just, he had it all planned out. He could see that, he could see that I was going to be in a situation where I need to have everything, organized and aligned. And so what ended up happening is he did end up answering my prayer, but it didn't come easy. So another thing that the management company wanted, they needed a rental reference. And so I just was like, oh, okay, I lived with my husband before he moved. I'll just, have them be a rental reference for me. Well, they ended up lying, saying I did not live there at all. And so now I'm in a situation where it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? This is the one thing that's preventing me from actually living here. So I took it to God in prayer, and I told him, they're lying. I did live there with my husband. We were at a townhome, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, God, this is the only thing preventing me from now moving in. And so she ended up calling me probably a day or two. The property management was a woman that I was speaking to regularly. She's the one that goes around showing the homes and things for people that are interested. And so she reached out, and she let me know she had talked to somebody else in management, and they were going to go ahead and take a risk. They were going to go ahead and take a risk and rent to me, even though I didn't have a rental reference. And so they did the background check and everything, and then all I had to do was go up there and get the key. And so here I am today. So that was a blessing, y'all. And I wish I could say it's just been easy ever since I moved here, but it has not been easy, y'all, because I went from my husband taking care of me, paying all the bills, to now where the roles are reversed. Now I have to pay the bills. I have to take care of myself. I have to maintain a job. And so it's definitely been a battle. It's been a struggle because there was so much that I had to unlearn. There were so many things about how I manage money, how I process things that just, it was not going to work anymore, because now it's like you have to budget, you have to maintain this apartment now, you know, and there's nobody there with you to help you manage everything. And so it definitely was hard. I think one of the biggest things I've learned since I've lived here is anything is possible with God. You know, no matter what, God already has the perfect plan for our life. And when he was showing me in the dream that I would be working at the retail location, he was just basically showing me, like, your life is about to change, but I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And he reminded me probably about 2 days ago that he's with me. He's with me. And there was times where I felt like giving up, y'all. There were times where I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to manage all of this on my own, you know, and I considered even going back to my husband, and God was not having that, you know. And again, I'll talk more about why God does not want me going back. And this wasn't our first time separating. We separated many times, and then I would end up going back. And so this was the conclusion. God was done with that back and forth, that cycle. And it was like, you know, I now had to trust him. And he's been taking care of me. He's been providing for me. He's been just keeping me afloat, because there were times where I did feel like I was drowning. So for any of you that are going through a separation, maybe even a divorce, you know, God hates divorce. This is true. But he also doesn't want you suffering. He doesn't want you hurting. And if he could do it for me, he can do it for you too. And I know it's hard. You loved your husband, or if you're a man watching this, you loved your wife, and you just got blindsided. You know, you thought if you could just pray enough, fast enough, hang in there, things would get better, things would change. But it takes two. One person can't be fully committed, and the other one's just, you know, doing whatever they want to do and out there in the world and being defiant and disobedient towards God. So no matter what you're going through, put God at the center of it. He's always going to make a way. Even when the opposition comes and it looks like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get in this door, you know, he allowed me to be here because I made the vision plain. I told God everything. I didn't leave anything out. And I explained to him why I would like to live here. I explained to him how I need to make enough money in order to be able to get this apartment. And so it's small, it's not much, but it's a roof over my head. It's home, and it's working for now. So God bless y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.